Gary Dahl was born in 1936. He wasn't even 40 years old when he came up with an idea. With an invention that would rock the entire world. That was the stupidest joke I've ever told on this channel. Hello and welcome to The Absurds, the show that jumps from the most epic and interesting fictional tales ever told to the wackiest and wildest true stories in history. Today we're going to talk about a phenomenon that legitimately changed American culture in the 20th century. And I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised that I've not talked about it sooner. Today we're going to talk about pet rocks. When I was a kid, I had a lot of hobbies, but one of them was a quest, a desire to make money. But not by working hard and having one of those stereotypical kid jobs like mowing the lawn or paper routes and other things that no longer exist. My goal was, for lack of a better word, gambling, like betting $5 on a game of pool with my brother, and that was the fastest way to make cash. That or buying packs of Pokemon cards and selling the rares, which was actually very lucrative, and an addiction that I have to this day. The other relevant hobby was my fascination both with the outside world, but also with various forms of art. We're talking about me when I was 5 years old, when I would spend hours making macaroni art, because I was filled with wonderment about how I could make different shapes and designs out of the same shape repeated. That macaroni art obviously fascinated me and evolved into my obsession with Legos. I also really enjoyed painting, not only on paper, but also on things like rocks. And I would grab some of them and paint them yellow, and then I would have some gold that I could play games with my action figures. Or I'd find a particularly oblong one, and I would paint it green. And for me, that was good enough to be a tree in my play pretend games. I would stand it up on one end and lean it against a wall, and then that is just a tree in the background, so I could play with my action figures, and they're in a forest now. The rock, even though it's a low-resolution version of a tree, was still good enough to be something that was in the background of my fantasy that included, little action figures that were supposed to represent people and animals. One thing I loved doing was breaking open Crayola markers and taking out the little inner tube of ink and putting it in a water bottle, and then it would soak overnight and the water would turn the color that the marker is. And it was like all the fun of painting Easter eggs, but I could do it whenever I wanted. It's the equivalent of an adult realizing that they can have ice cream for breakfast. As a kid, it was like, oh my god, I can paint things like Easter eggs all year. Now, obviously, I had the desire, the genius plot, to take these masterpiece works of art that I had made and use them for my other hobby, by which I mean to sell them, to make money. These objects, these items, these works of art were obviously worth something to me, and since it was worth something to me, it therefore must be inherently valuable, because I'm 5 years old. And while I painted many a picture that ended up on the refrigerator, my painted rocks and globs of macaroni did not fetch a high price on the art market of my household. The only buyers were, of course, my parents, and they didn't buy them. All this leads to my dad telling me a funny story. He wanted to encourage my art and my entrepreneurial habits without actually buying them, so he told me that back when he was a kid, you could go into stores and actually buy rocks. He told me about pet rocks. They came in little boxes, like crates, like animal crates, and I imagined the kinds of boxes that Build-A-Bears come in, which are, of course, themselves a representation of the crates that you might take a pet home in. They come from the same, root idea. And inside these boxes would be just a rock, just a regular rock. And it was a fad. It was a craze that people spent money on, buying rocks. And that obviously raised the question of why. As a kid, I didn't understand why someone would buy a rock they could find in their backyard. I thought it was absurd, and of course it is. But instead of just accepting that it was an absurd thing, a kind of society-wide play and joke that everyone was in on, and that the real product was the ability to play into the joke, I instead imagined that I was just missing some context. Surely my dad was just failing to mention that the rocks had fake mustaches on them, or that they weren't actually rocks. They were, made of plastic, which for some reason makes more sense to me as something someone would buy than just a real rock. Honestly, I still, to this day, kind of believe that you could sell a plastic rock for more than you could sell a real rock for. I just, at the time, just did not understand. My 5-year-old brain could not wrap itself around a rock. I got the joke, but it was so stupid that I thought that I was missing the real joke. And of course, there was no real joke. Throughout this video, I'm going to insert reviews I found on Amazon of pet rocks. So here we have one that says, I mean, it is what it is. I grew up in the 70s and had a pet rock. I bought one of these as a funny party favor. It's just as I remember, but costs a lot more. If you want it for nostalgia, then it works. Otherwise, I would suggest you just find a rock and make your own. After reading this, I am extremely disappointed. Because, like, play along, dude. Like, that's the point. After this conversation with my father, my next exposure to the existence of pet rocks was in the Weird Al song eBay. It's a parody of I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys, and between eBay and So Need a Cute Girl, I now cannot reliably ever sing that song because I will not know which line is real. I would just completely alternate between the real lyrics of the song, the Weird Al versions of the song, and the Chris Chan version of the song. It is a problem that I believe might be unique to me. Anyway, eBay is a song about all the absurd things that the Weird Al character bought on eBay, listing things from a toaster and a golf bag to an Alf alarm clock and one of William Shatner's toupees. The song lists a lot of things that the character bought, including a bathrobe, a snow globe, a Smurf TV tray, the aforementioned alarm clock, toaster, toupee, and golf bag, Beanie Babies, watches, ashtrays, lunchboxes, tube socks, and a used tissue, a poster of Farrah Fawcett, and a Pez dispenser. Obviously, I wouldn't be telling this story if it didn't involve today's video topic, because of course in the song, Weird Al lists a pet rock as the useless thing that he bought. In fact, the line is, "Tell me why I need another pet rock," meaning that he has multiple. In a cultural sense, this is really interesting because, again, the point of the song is to list useless things he at one point calls junk and things that you would throw away. He lists outdated merchandise, like the ashtray being from the Dukes of Hazzard, the clock is from Alf, celebrity memorabilia, like a poster, a toupee from a Star Trek actor, and the used tissue is specifically mentioned as being from Dr. Dre. So the pet rock falls, according to this song, into the category of a thing that is deemed useless, garbage, and in my interpretation of the song, is also a representation of a cultural moment that is past. The song was written in 2003, long after the glory days of Farrah Fawcett, the original Star Trek, and Alf. Pet rocks were a relic, and of course, the song itself is already 20 years old. It just sits there, staring at me. It's watching me right now, judging me, judging my actions, judging me writing a review. It knows what I'm doing. It's clever, more clever than me, I'd wager. I don't want to be the one to say it, but if you don't want someone staring at you all day, all night, all week, don't buy this. 5 stars. I probably didn't think about pet rocks for a decade until the idea of just a little rock boy was featured heavily in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, which, by the way, just won the Oscar for Best Movie of last year, so that's fantastic. The movie is about a multiverse of different weird things, like a world where people have sausages for fingers, where a raccoon plays the role of Remy from Ratatouille, but it's in real life. Featured heavily in the movie's advertising, and pretty significantly in the plot, are rocks with googly eyes. At one point they go to a universe that has no life. It is inhabited only by rocks, and there's a funny scene where the two rocks talk to each other. Well, after the movie came out and was a huge success, and obviously it's now won the Oscar, so people must have thought it was pretty good, they started selling Everything Everywhere All at Once branded pet rocks, which are of course just pet rocks with googly eyes. And googly eyes themselves are just this weird little phenomenon. In one of my older videos in this series, I covered Thomas the Tank Engine, and I mentioned how in a vacuum, removed from the culture of the show and the toys, the idea of a train with a horrifying gray blob of a human face sticking out of it is absurd. And likewise, a rock with a pair of googly eyes on it is absurd. Absurdity is actually an important plot point in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is why I think googly eyes are so present in its marketing, because, again, in a vacuum, they are weird. So I guess my thesis is that despite the fact that they're junk and useless and literally free if you go outside, the reason they work as a product is because they're weird. It's because someone tells you the concept and you think it's so stupid that it sticks with you, and you go on to think it's funny and you shake your head when you see one on the shelf. And each time the topic gets brought up, it gets funnier and funnier until you associate the object itself, the product, with the joke. And obviously, paying money for a pet rock is the punchline of the joke. So if you think it's funny, you want to be the one telling the punchline, so you need to buy one and display it in your home, because something so stupid makes you laugh, and it makes you happy. 5 stars. Rock. Rock. 2 people found this helpful. 5 stars. Rocks are cool. I like rocks. 5 stars because it's a rock that cares. This product cured my sadness. I was in middle school when the term trolling was popularized, but it was still used unironically at the time. This is the era where trollface was invented, and there was a conversation among nerds like me about the line between trolling and bullying. Trolling and harassment. Being a troll and being mean. And one of the things that my peers used to differentiate the two sides of trolling and bullying were that trolling needs to take a disproportionate amount of energy, effort, or time compared to how much it impacts the target. A classic example would be taking a piece of paper and taping it under somebody's computer mouse so that it no longer works, especially if printed onto the piece of paper is a picture of Trollface. The effort it would take to put this all in a Microsoft Word document, print it out, cut it, and tape it to the mouse is significantly more effort and time than it takes to just remove it from the bottom of the mouse. That is good trolling. So it's the same principle, I believe, that the reason that pet rocks are funny is because of the effort put into them. Me selling you a rock at a rock stand, like a lemonade stand but for rocks, that's a scam. I'm robbing you. But if I put the pet rock in a package meant to mimic an animal crate, including bedding and a manual for how to take care of your pet rock, suddenly I'm putting effort into this thing that I'm selling you. I'm putting more effort in than the amount of effort you have to put in to make the money to buy the product. It's no longer a scam, it is a joke. You're not buying the rock, you're buying the joke. And yes, pet rocks did come with owner's manuals. To demonstrate how important I think this presentation is and how it changed selling a rock from a scam to a toy, I want to read out some of the negative reviews I found on Amazon. See, the Amazon listing for the pet rock does not come in a classic animal carrying crate, and it does not come with the original manual, and people are mad. 1 star, false advertisement. I would give this review a 0 out of 5 if I could. Does not come as pictured. In a plain box with no certificate. Definitely false advertising. Purchase elsewhere. The product picture is misleading. The pet rock came in a plain brown box without any decorations or breathing holes. If I could give this 0 stars, I would. The description of this item and picture shown are completely misleading and wrong. I received a random box with no name on it and a rock thrown inside. Nothing else. Returning for my money back. Does not come in the box advertised. 1 star. Doesn't come with a care manual, the main point of buying a pet rock. The rock is a rock. I knew that. It comes in a flimsy box. I expected that. What I didn't expect was the fact that it wouldn't come with the care manual. This was the only reason my kids wanted a pet rock. As stupid as it is, I don't think I've ever been so disappointed in something I ordered on Amazon. When looking at the QA, I see they say it doesn't come with the manual. For $20, I would think they could mention that where people would see it. I usually look at the QA, but didn't think it was necessary for a rock. I didn't come in anything but a plain box, not pamphlet. 2 stars. To finish off this video, we're going to take a look at the manual that came with the original pet rocks in the 70s. Let's take a look at this 21-page document. Alright folks, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the 21-page owner's manual for pet rocks coming straight out in 1975. Congratulations, you are now the owner of a genuine, pedigreed pet rock. Important, do not remove your pet rock from its box before reading item 1 in this booklet. Copyright 1975 Rock Bottom Productions. Mr. Gary Dahl, I know that you died a couple years ago, but I would like you to know that you made me laugh from 50 years in the past. Rock Bottom Productions. Love it. Item 1. Your new rock is a very sensitive pet and may be slightly traumatized from all the handling and shipping required in bringing the two of you together. While you may look in on your new pet from time to time, it is essential that you leave your rock in its box for a few days. It is advised that you set the box in an area of your home that is to become your pet rock's special place. Some pet rock owners have found that the ticking of an alarm clock placed near the box has a soothing effect, especially at night. It takes most pet rocks exactly 3 days to acclimate themselves to their new surroundings. After 72 hours have passed, you may remove the rock from its box and begin enjoying your new pet. Note, if, when you remove the rock from its box, it appears to be excited, place it on some old newspapers. The rock will know what the paper is for and will require no further instructions. It will remain on the paper until you remove it. Your pet rock will be a devoted friend and companion for many years to come. Rocks enjoy a rather long lifespan, so the two of you will never have to part, at least not on your pet rock's account. Once you have transcended the awkward training stage, your rock will mature into a faithful, obedient, loving pet with but one purpose in life: to be at your side when you want it to, and to go lie down when you don't. A pet rock is perfect for people who hate animals, are allergic to animals, or who are not allowed to keep animals. When you own a pet rock, You never have problems with leash law violations. You'll never have to clean up nasty messes, and your pet will never keep you and the neighbors awake at night. Pet rocks are welcome everywhere. Your pet rock didn't come out of any old rock pile, you know. There is nothing common about genuine, pedigreed pet rocks. They descend from a long line of famous rocks. Their ancestors can be found amongst the rubble of the pyramids, the cobblestone streets of ancient European cities, the Great Wall of China. Pet rocks descend in one unbroken line that can be traced back to the beginning of time and even further. Pet rocks are found with the aid of a specially trained rock hound. These are not fake sympathy laughs. I am genuinely bewildered. In the modern day, we would call this a shoot post. Guys, can we bring back rock posting? They are then examined for congenital defects prior to intelligence evaluations. Only rocks that have demonstrated a strong capacity for learning and obedience are allowed to wear the name Pet Rock. Upon passing initial tests, they are prepared for shipping, packed into their little boxes, and sent throughout the world to anxious owners. There are hundreds of breeds of rocks. Of the hundreds of breeds of rock known to man, only a few show the necessary aptitude required of a pet rock. The more important traits associated with genuine pet rocks are gentle disposition, eagerness to please, and a profound sense of responsibility. Initial training. Nobody, but nobody, likes a surly, misbehaving rock. Therefore, it is most important that you begin training immediately. I thought we had to wait 3 days. You liar. Your pet rock should be made to know who is the boss, and that you will demand certain good manners and impeccable behavior if the two of you are to have a happy, well-adjusted relationship. I guess you could say that that's the foundation of a solid relationship needs to be steady as a rock. See, I could have written this. I could have sold 1.5 million rocks. A few of the more popular breeds. I like the one in the middle left. The golden retriever of rocks. Limit your training sessions to 15 minutes twice a day. 1 half-hour session is not recommended, as a rock's attention span is rather short. Remember, a bored rock is an unhappy rock. The first section of this training manual will address itself a simple obedience. Come, sit, stay, etc. Amusing tricks will be covered in Section 2. No special equipment is required in training your new pet. Amazingly, a rock is one of the few pets that will respond to training without the aid of a leash or choke chain. First, select a special training area. Use the same area for all training sessions until your rock is showing good progress. Section 1. Simple obedience. Come. It is essential that your pet rock learn this command. A rock that doesn't come when it's called will cause its owner endless embarrassment. Command gently but firmly. What's the opposite of analog horror? Like analog comedy? I guess analog absurdity would fit the description. That's kind of what reading this gives me the vibes of. It's like instead of the horror that you would feel watching Local 58, you instead laugh because it's a rock. It has been assumed that you've given your pet rock a name by now. If you have not, do so before proceeding with obedience training. To teach the command come, place your rock on the floor or ground and take a few steps backwards. Now, bending over from the waist, place your hands upon your knees and face your rock. Now, with firm authority, say, "Come, Brutus." If you have not named your rock Brutus, you may wish to say something else. Repeat the command, "Come, Brutus." I am just now, in the middle of this recording, remembering that there's a pet rock in Sonichu. This is rather upsetting. Assuming your pet rock is normal, it will probably not respond. Start again. Bending over from the waist, face your rock, clap your hands, and let your face light up as you say, "Come, Brutus, come on, fella, here, boy," and stuff like that. Now, start walking slowly towards your rock. Incredibly, as you walk towards your rock, you will notice it is actually coming closer. Oh my god, this is the dad jokes. This is the dad joke of instruction manuals. This means your pet rock is learning the command come. Praise your rock and give it a pat of approval. A pat of approval works wonders. Note, many pet rocks have tremendous difficulty learning the command come. Pet rock owners have complained that their rocks were stupid, dim-witted, and slow because of it. Well, this is ridiculous. To be sure, training a rock to come when it's called requires extraordinary patience. It is a rare rock indeed that will leap into its master's arms the first time it hears the command. And, while it takes quite a while to train a rock to come when its name is called, the problem lies not with the rock's inability to learn commands. The problem lies in the fact that a rock has an extremely hard time learning its name. Be patient, calm, and gentle. The next command to teach a rock is stay. It is very important that your pet rock learn this command, as it is disconcerting to have a rock that will wander around while you are shopping for groceries or having your hair done. Return to your training area and set your rock upon the floor or ground. Look at your rock intently, like you really mean business, and give the command, stay. Surprisingly, most rocks have no difficulty learning this command and respond quite obediently the first time they hear it. Repeat the command, stay, and slowly back away from your rock. If your rock should move, and this is highly unlikely, shout the command while gesturing dramatically with the palm of your outstretched hand. In no time at all, your pet rock will be responding to this obedience command each and every time. With further patience, you can train your rock to stay by using only the hand signal. Sit! This is not a difficult command to teach a pet rock, as most rocks spend the bulk of their time sitting around anyway. However, a refresher course is certainly in order, since you will want your rock to sit when you want it to, not when it wants to. Place your rock in its training area and give the command, sit. Many rocks will attempt to deceive you by lying down, Jesus, thinking that you won't know the difference. This should not be encouraged. If you say sit, then your rock should sit, and that's all there is to it. Here is a simple method to ensure your pet rock always obeys your commands. Repeat the order, sit, and slowly walk away from your rock. Well, see, earlier, you said that if I walk towards my rock, then that means it's actually coming closer to me. Now you're saying I'm walking away from the rock, and that's an indication that it's staying still? Clearly, by the rules that you have set up, Mr. Manual, that would indicate that the rock is moving away from me and is not sitting still. I don't know if I can trust this owner's manual. It is outdated. It is 48 years old. We've definitely developed new obedience training for pet rocks since then. Repeat the order, sit, and slowly walk away from your rock. Now, hide in another room, and, from time to time, peek in on your rock to make sure it hasn't moved. If it lies down when it should be sitting, storm back into the room and shout, "Bad rock! Bad rock!" Your pet rock will know it has displeased you and will return to the sitting position. It will also know who's the boss. Once your pet rock learns the command sit, add the command stay. Your rock will now remain sitting until further notice. It would be cruel to leave your rock in the sitting position forever. Therefore, it is necessary that you teach it the command down. After sitting for a long period of time, your rock will appreciate the chance to relax. It is also nice, when you have house guests, to own a pet rock that will lie unobtrusively and lovingly at your feet. Teaching the command down is best accomplished in conjunction with the command sit. After your pet rock has been in the sitting position for a while, give it the command down. If you've made a big fuss about your rock sitting properly, it may be reluctant to move. Place your foot upon your rock and push it firmly into the carpet or dirt. It won't take long before your rock understands what you want it to do. Down is another of the training commands that most rocks respond to with a minimum of teaching. It is in a pet rock's nature that it learns to get down so easily. Praise your rock and give it a gentle, reassuring hug. Stand. You're a little confused if you think a pet rock can be taught to stand. A rock has no feet. Heel. It is extremely unusual to see a rock strolling around unaccompanied. There's a very good reason for this. Most pet rock owners have had the patience and good judgment to teach the command heel. To teach your pet rock to heel, simply follow these easy steps. First, place your pet rock on the floor or ground directly behind your right heel. Next, give the command heel and stand absolutely still. Slowly, without moving your feet, turn and look down at your rock. You will be both pleased and amazed to see it is still there, right where you want it to be, directly behind your right heel. Your pet rock has learned the command. Praise your rock. Section 2. Amusing tricks. Few pets are more anxious to please their masters than our pet rocks. It is surprisingly easy to teach your rock cute tricks that will entertain you and your friends for hours. Roll over. Of course. Your pet rock will learn this trick the very first time you give it a lesson. That statement may be hard to believe, but it is, nevertheless, quite true. The best place to teach your pet rock to roll over is on the side of a hill. Place your rock on the ground at the top of the hill and give the command roll over. Now, let go of your rock. It's that simple. Your rock will roll end over end and will not stop until it tires of the game. Pet rocks usually get tired of the game when they reach the bottom of the hill. Follow your rock to the bottom of the hill and praise it profusely. This praise will make your pet rock very happy, and it will repeat the trick as soon as you return to the top of the hill. You will tire of this trick long before your pet rock does. Performing its first trick, play dead. Your pet rock will take to this trick like a duck takes to water. It is one of the most entertaining tricks a rock can learn, and a trick that is sure to get many affectionate laughs and approving glances from you and your friends. Take your pet rock to its training area, and, when you have its undivided attention, give the command, play dead. If your rock is like most rocks, it will not have to be told more than once. Immediately, it will go completely stiff, as though rigor mortis has set in, and will remain in this posture until you give a different command. Rocks enjoy this trick so much that often, when you're not even looking, they'll actually practice it on their own. It's not unusual to walk into a room and see a pet rock playing dead. Guys, we're literally only halfway through this book. Shake hands. Don't be ridiculous. You can't teach a rock to shake hands. Skipping your rock. This might be animal abuse. I don't know if I necessarily approve of this one. Pet rocks really enjoy the water, but as nearly everyone knows, they are atrocious swimmers. Therefore, teaching a rock to skip over the surface of the water is very important. To do this, first find a narrow stream, pond, or swimming pool. Do not attempt this trick on a wide body of water. Hold your rock firmly in hand, give the command, skip, and throw your rock across the surface. More often than not, and depending upon your arm, your pet rock will skip happily to the other side. If your pet does not make it happily to the other side, it will sink like a stone. If that happens, you'll be needing a new one. Too bad. Fetch. To teach your pet rock to fetch, throw a stick or ball as far as you can. Next, throw your pet rock as far as you can. Rarely, if ever, will your pet rock return with the object, but that's the way it goes. Attack training. A rock is a loyal, devoted pet that can easily be trained to protect you and your family. Woe be to the burglar or prowler who ventures into the home guarded by a pet rock, or the mugger who attempts to accost a pet rock's master. There are two basic attack methods to teach your pet rock: long-distance attacks and close-range attacks. Long-distance attacks. In these instances when your adversary is at a distance, such as when a bully kicks sand in your face on the beach and keeps on running, your pet rock will respond to the challenge instantly and effectively, as in assuring that it never happens again. First, wipe the sand from your eyes. Next, pick up your pet rock, shout the command attack, and throw your rock at the bully with all your might. This method of protection is surefire and results are guaranteed, although you may want to practice your aim before attempting this maneuver. Yeah, pet rocks came out today. There is no way that this would still be in the manual. They'd be sued by stupid parents. You can't make a joke that someone should throw a rock. Has censorship gone too far? Has pet rocks gone woke? Close range attacks. If you are threatened at close range, always use the close range attack method. It is the ultimate form of personal protection. The element of surprise enters into this attack method, thereby making it doubly as effective. A pet rock poised for the attack. When the adversary approaches within arm's length and demands all your money, credit cards, and other valuables, follow these easy steps. Reach into your pocket or purse as though you were going to comply with the mugger's demands. Extract your pet rock. Shout the command attack and bash the mugger's head in. Pet rocks really seem to enjoy this exercise and, in most cases, come away from the attack little the worse for wear. Note: owners of attack-trained pet rocks have a responsibility to society to use their dangerous pets for protection only and not for instigating trouble of any kind. Healthcare. A healthy rock is a happy rock. Everybody knows that. It is, therefore, extremely important that you learn healthcare and emergency first aid techniques as they regard your pet rock. Pet rocks are, to be sure, quite hardy. However, an occasional accident or disease may befall your pet, and you should know how to care for it. Also, visits to the lapidary can be very expensive. Here are some of the more serious problems that can befall a pet rock, along with instructions for their cures. A rock in perfect health. A rock in obvious distress. Part of me is legitimately concerned that the kind of humor that's present in this manual is the exact same kind of humor that became prevalent online in the mid-2010s. I don't know if that means that it's cyclical, or if it means that there's just a direct line of influence from the Pet Rock Owner's Manual to Zoomer memes. A chip off the old rock. A chip off the old rock can be much more serious than a chip off the young rock. In the first place, old rocks don't heal as quickly, and first aid should be immediate. Should you notice a chip off your old rock, the first thing you must do is find the missing chip. Not just any old chip either. Your pet's own chip must be found and glued back in place. Any attempt to use a strange chip will cause a rejection of the new part, and then where will you be? Blood out of a rock. I get it, that's an expression. If you are getting blood out of your rock, you should contact the Internal Revenue Service immediately. They've been attempting to do this very thing for years. If your pet rock appears nervous and fidgety, it's a better than even chance it's suffering from dreaded rock bottom. No other disease is as debilitating to pet rocks as rock bottom. We have a diagram of a chip off the old rock. The first symptoms are manifested in almost unbelievable forgetfulness. Your pet rock will not remember a single command or trick. All the hours of training will be forgotten. It will be the saddest day of your life. From simple loss of memory, it gets worse. So bad, in fact, that we won't go into it here. Suffice to say that, should your pet rock contract rock bottom, get a new pet rock immediately. There is no known cure. Rocks in the wild. Perhaps you've seen a particular rock in the wild and thought it would make a nice pet. Do not approach that rock. This is to be discouraged. Wild rocks can give you nothing but headaches. They can be surly, vicious, and unpredictable. They are nearly impossible to domesticate and show practically no learning abilities whatsoever. There's an old saying in rock circles, once a wild rock, always a wild rock. A genuine, pedigreed pet rock will make a much more suitable companion. A pack of wild rocks. In closing, as the owner of a pet rock, you have assumed a responsibility to love and care for this new addition to your family. If your rock should misbehave, be patient. If it should cause you problems, be forgiving. Under no circumstances should you turn your pet rock loose. The world is already overcrowded with discarded, unwanted rocks, and millions must be destroyed each year. These poor, unfortunate rocks meet brutal ends in roadbeds, cement mixers, or as landfill. Don't allow your pet rock to meet an untimely demise at the bottom of an obscure pile of rubble. Remember, if you take care of your pet rock will take care of you. That was so much better than I could ever have expected. Remember, kids, praise your rock. Well, that's everything I have for you today. The pet rock went on to sell 1.5 million units within its first couple months on the market. And I like to think that its existence is still proving to this very day how important presentation and marketing are to the longevity and popularity of products. And no, I'm not going to end this video by showing off that I bought a pet rock, and wow, haha, now I'm in on the joke, haha, it's cool. I'm not doing that. I am doing that next time, however, because next time I'm going to make a video all about weird collectibles, and a concerning thing that I found being sold on eBay. Maybe concerning is too light of a word. I would say that this group of people on eBay are disturbing. This video was made with the support of my backers on Patreon. A link to my Patreon is in the description below, and I also have channel memberships available. I would never ask that anybody who doesn't have disposable income donate to my channel, or any YouTuber really. If you're under 18, if you have student loans, there's no reason for you to give money to people who make videos on YouTube. But I would very much like to shout out those people who do allow these videos to get made. Klaus, Eliza, Halmar, Lauren, Morgan, Nan, Rhiannon, Rosebud, Scott, Sophie, Thomgata, Am Hidden, Haley, Jinx, Jose, Just That Spark, Rolo, Shadowmaster, Tanner McCoolman, and Genie. Thank you for watching. Be sure to be nice to each other in the comments. Consider supporting the creators you admire, and never lose sight of the things that are important to you. Praise your rock.